12 years, and this is 12 years of fact-finding. Hi, my name is Divoky, and, well, I'm here to, I guess, complain. First time I've complained, first time I've been here in front of anyone. My complaint is about Hampden Township and Clarendon Township. Their zoning inspectors have lied to me and to the Planning Commission. The trailer park seems to be a problem, Leader's Trailer Park. They stated with the state of Ohio they were working on 100 acres, and they were approved for, don't quote me, but around 288 trailers. They were only on 16 acres. Big difference.
Wait a minute, so back up, so you said they have 100 acres?
No, sir. They stated to the state of Ohio that they were working on a 100-acre parcel.
Okay.
They were only on 16 acres.
That's what they currently have?
Currently, they're up to about 43 acres.
Okay.
They have expanded their footprint 7 times.
Okay.
The township, over the last 50 years, has been, we have no zoning control over the trailer parks. They've actually written into their zoning text, and they named the property specifically, the Lakeman property.
Okay.
And they've, well, put forth a bunch of zoning requirements on them. They haven't followed any of them. In fact, they purposely removed the buffer zone between our properties. The fencing, anything. The amount of 103 tires I've had to move out of there. The amount of trespass that I have. I am right next, I bought the property next to them.
Okay.
And when I went to put in my driveway, the owner calls me up and says, I have a 50-foot buffer on your property. Says, no, if you read the zoning text, it says on the manufactured home parks property.
Okay.
Well, they got that eliminated. There's other zoning, so when I went to the zoning inspectors, they kept saying zoning
You're
doesn't
saying
apply.
they got it eliminated, they eliminated it through the
And so the
township
judge, we ended up taking it to the, we had to file a writ of mandamus to get them to do everything, anything and everything. And so finally the judge agreed that zoning does apply. They could either enforce the zoning or get a variance.
Okay.
They didn't get a variance, they just got rid of that zoning text, literally just crossed it out. Well, there's about 5 other violations there, but why bother going to the zoning inspector that has A, lied to me, has lied to the Planning Commission, has kind of lied to the trustees as well. I have plenty of the documentation. I would like to get a meeting with somebody and
And the
actually
zoning
go.
inspector is from Clarendon or from?
And so the zoning inspector from Hampden is RJ Aquaviva.
Okay.
Okay, the zoning inspector from Clarendon, I forgot his name because this has probably been about 6 years ago. I had to pick and choose which one I'm going to argue with.
Okay.
Because the Leaders Mobile Home stated to the township trustees that they can keep the whole operation in Hampden Township. Well, you can look on your GIS and you can see they have trailers over in Clarendon Township, and the whole wastewater treatment plant is in Clarendon Township. And so our health department, so the state of Ohio says that our health department is supposed to inspect the 8 mobile home districts in Geauga County. But then the attorney for the state of Ohio stated that our health department opted out of inspecting the 8 mobile home parks in Geauga County.
And why would that?
That's a very good question. So I buy houses, fix them up, and have to abide by rules, regulations, zoning. Have to go through the health department and stuff for septics. In fact, in the middle of COVID, Dave, I forget his name, Sage, he told me when I was in the middle of one of my rehabs that they abandoned the septic program after they took my money. Yeah,
Did you get
seriously.
refunded?
No, I ended up having to send my attorney in, and then they finally gave me my permit. And so I'm like, after
Without an inspection?
Pardon?
You got the permit without the inspection then?
No, it was for the inspection. I already paid for that. Then it was another permit price. Let's not go down that road. I'm just kind of, every turn in my discovery with the county, I've been met with wrong information and lies. Not sure why. they removed they're supposed to have a recreational area in the trailer parks. In 2012, they removed the recreational area and, well, filled it all up, they didn't follow their engineered SWIP plan. In fact, they took all the water from the upper half of the trailer park and dumped it through a 12-inch pipe right onto my property, flooding out my property.
Did you contact Soil and Water?
Yes, I did, and Bob Griesmer, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And so he comes out and he gives me a piece of paper, says, you're allowed to divert all, well, he says, they're allowed to flood out my property. He said, the paper he gave me from the state of Ohio says you're allowed to flood out your neighbors, you're allowed to improve your property to the detriment of your neighbors. There's so much wrong with it, with the engineering. In fact, they didn't follow their SWIP plans from the engineering department to take the stormwater out. In fact, they dumped it onto my property and put trailers over the pipe. The planning commission asked the zoning inspector if they placed any new trailers, and he says no. They've not stopped placing trailers since I started a lawsuit with them 6 years ago.
And what does the permit from the state of Ohio allow them for trailers in the park?
And so according to that one, it stated that it was roughly 288 trailers when they were on the 100-acre parcel, which was actually 16. So now that they're totally up to 43 acres, their attorney, the trailer park's attorney, sent in some documentation to the judge stating that they were grandfathered. Well, we had already proved that they weren't grandfathered, and the information that they submitted to the courts stated no more than 3 trailers per acre. So if you only have 43 acres times 3, how many trailers do you think they should have? Not 400.
Right.
It's not even close.
So let me ask you, so what do you want us to, what are you here for today?
What am I here for? And so exactly, I've kind of gone through the township, I've gone through the chain of command, right?
And you've talked to our planning commission?
No, actually I didn't. They held a few meetings. They had meetings with Aquaviva, which again, he lied to them. They never did it properly, meaning getting a variance to remove this the zoning text.
So why don't we look at this? You know, right down this hall is Linda. She's our
Linda Crump?
Yeah.
She's been part of the problem as well, sir.
Okay. So I would say this is, I would tell you that on February 13th, ask to be, you know, put on the agenda, or it's a public meeting.
Yeah.
You can show up and you can bring up your concerns to the you know, to the actual planning commission. And understand something, so the planning commission is a advisory commission. They're not a matter of statutory override of the townships. The townships still can choose to adopt their own, you know, rules, regulations of how they see fit. However, what it is that, you know, there's a, you know, model zoning plan, and everything that we basically recommend, townships many times will then send you know, the package to us at the planning commission, and then we'll basically look at everything and then basically refer and recommend based off of that. So what happens in the planning commission is not final, but they can put a set of eyes, and the planning commission is made up of a multitude of residents of the county, not elected officials, that, you know, is specifically based on making good common sense decisions sometimes that are not politically driven. So I would tell you that would probably be a good start given your situation. February 13th, and I believe it's going to be at 7:30 in the morning. If you go to that, and I would just basically ask if either you can be placed on the agenda to talk about it, or just go there as a, you know, as a public, you know, as a public member and voice your concern. And then what I will do also is that then I'll wait to hear what the outcome from that is, and let's circle back around and see what we could do to help you, because I understand. I don't know enough about this. I'm just hearing this for the first time, and I apologize. I've been here for 12 years, but it's the first time I've heard of this. So, but I would tell you, why don't we go that route first and do that, and then we basically can, let's circle back
The
around.
reason I'm here, I guess, is I'm looking for some sort of protection for my property and my family.
Right. And I think that they could, I think that's the first start. Let's try to do that, And then the other thing, have you gone to some of the township meetings at Hamden and Clarendon also?
Yes, sir, I've gone, and the lies are incredible,
Okay.
incredible. And then the closed meetings. Back to the way they've handled every single one of their meetings, and why we had to file a writ of mandamus to get them to do anything properly.
Okay.
And so, yes, we've been to a number of their meetings.
Okay.
I guess the reason I guess I'll try to lay out a few good of the, maybe 5 or 6.
Correct.
There's
Yeah, I would
plenty of
just
them.
do this. I would have it, I would really just focus on some key points, and
Well, they
have,
keep saying it's going through the state, and so this was just a stop-off before I
Okay.
get down to Columbus and bring it up with the state, because everyone in this community seems to be turning a blind eye. I know this is the first time I've brought it up to anyone.
right, yeah, this is.
And
I
over the
know,
last
I've
60
never done
years,
this.
I've been the one managing that.
Right.
I'm getting too old to be chasing kids out of the property and off the property, and I have children, they're suicidal kids with guns killing themselves on the property.
Okay.
It's not a pretty picture. And so, I appreciate your time listening.
No, we appreciate you coming in.
And so that was what I mentioned to the chief back there, I'm sorry, the sheriff. I called him before and asked him for advice on what to do with the constant trespass and what's going on there. And he advised me to make a complaint every time.
Right.
At a certain point, when do I become the problem? When you're
And
calling
listen,
daily.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a problem. And it's an unfortunate situation, but that's about as best of an answer that, can be given to you is to make a complaint on it.
Oh, I get it, and keep
it's-
everybody involved
Yeah.
and let you guys know, because
Yeah.
it is our community, and
Right.
if I don't tell you, then you don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this has been going on for 60 years.
So you've been there
last-
for 60 years?
58, but my family's been here for 3 generations, and I bought the neighboring property off my uncle's estate.
And how many acres do you have there?
I have a total of about 41 acres.
Okay.
Which seems...
So let me ask you, in their plan of that 100 acres, did it include your property?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
No, they bought their property off Zima, and back to, they were only on 16 acres when they told the state that they were working on 100 acres.
Okay.
And so they Aqua Viva keeps saying that the state has exclusivity of the mobile home parks.
They do, and there's
With-
also,
With the interior of the parks, I spoke with Mo Nussbaum, who was the attorney for the state of Ohio, and she says, we control the inside, but the township still controls the property, and it's the footprint. It's in it's in the township, and
Right.
so they still have that control. And same with, that's why I'm here, because the county, well, it's in our county, and the next step is the state, because it's in our state too.
Sure.
And so, yes, I will go to Linda Crombie again, and I will mention this again, but I already saw what they did at their last zoning commission hearing, where they essentially did this without due process. They didn't notify us. That's what they have to do accordingly in a variance. But by not following the judge's order of not getting a variance, of just literally crossing out the zoning text to avoid a lawsuit, there's 4 more problems there that I can file the lawsuit tomorrow on. But I've already demonstrated that nobody will watch, listen, or look. So I will be more than happy to go to that meeting and bring it up with them and see what we can continue.
All right, well, we appreciate that.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, sir.
Keep in mind that the planning commission is an advisory board.
I understand.
Not a legislative body. And even if the townships have an idea to change the zoning or tweak it or whatever, they present it to the planning commission. And we go over it, and we, based on our model zoning, and make corrections. And even when we give them modifications and adjustments that we recommend them to do, they don't have to do it.
I understand that, but maybe they need to get the actual facts involved versus the lies that they've been dealing
Well, and I
with.
think that it could help you if the planning commission looked at it and had a recommendation and then transferred it to the township, and then they didn't choose to follow that, I think that's only strength on your part, correct? So I think that
Due to
let's
this
do this.
corruption, there's no strengthening my end, sir.
I understand, and it's frustrating, and I could understand that, because I wouldn't want that, if it was my property, and I sympathize with you 100%, and I think let's start
I'm just
from
hoping
there.
for some of that protection that they
Yeah.
say we're zoned for. So,
Yeah.
well, again, thank you for
No,
your time.
appreciate you
sir.
coming in, thank you.